Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to present on Pakistan Global Challenges networking meeting that has been organized by the UK Pakistan Science and Innovation Global Network, UPSIGN. And I congratulate UPSIGN for their first year anniversary. A brief about NRSP and myself. I am the CEO of NRSP. NRSP is a non-profit. It was set up by a very interesting arrangement of a public-private partnership where a non-profit came into being by seed capital from the government of Pakistan. It's been almost 25 years, but ever since, NRSP has been able to sustain itself, and I'll explain how it has been done and how we are able to provide the services to our clients, which in our case is the rural, poor and the small farmer. As you know, Pakistan is a country of about 200 million people. 70% of them are rural based, which means about 140 million, mostly which are landless, but they are in the business of farming. So they are farmers having no land. Most of the time they are accessing land on rent or they are sharecroppers. So what we do, our core business is to organize such people, because it's very difficult to reach out to each one of them. Being a rural support program, what we do is that we go in and at the neighborhood level, we form a group which we call a community organization, which is about 15 to 20 households, and this group sets up their own management structure in a form that they elect a president and a manager. A president is a person who has some influence in that area and can give time, and a manager is the one who can at least be literate so that he can write and document things. Documentation is done. Every meeting which the community organization does is minuted, and that between NRSP and the community organization, the mean of communication is a resolution which is at least signed off by 2/3 of the members of that community organization. So this is the first year institution which you built. All the office bearers, as I said, the president and managers, they get together and they form at a village level what we call a village organization. And then all the village organization in a similar fashion, their president and managers, they get together at what we call a union council, which is the last unit of local government, which is kind of a location of about 10 to 15 villages, and they form kind of a third-tier organization, and we call it a local support organization. So our core business is to organize the communities and create this three-tiered structure. Once this function is done, then we traditionally have been working in two areas, and now very lately we have added another area. The first area is that, of course, we go in and we do an analysis. We ask every member of a community organization what is the opportunity in their life. We don't talk about demands. We only say that we will only be able to help you because we are a rural support program. We'll support you in those things which you can do yourselves. And as a result, we create what we call a micro investment plan. When we aggregate the micro investment plan from the household to the community, the village and the local support level, then we find out that most of the time, about 80%, most of these aspirations are related to access to financial services. And as a result, we have developed a very interesting, robust model of agriculture credit. It is part of a microfinance, but the important thing is that NRSP holds about 23% of the entire country's market share of microfinance. That makes us the largest single organization which is involved in microfinance. We have a subsidiary which is a bank, a microfinance bank. It has very interesting investors. Apart from NRSP, we have IFC, the KFW, and the Acumen Fund from New York, and lately Proparco from France is also going to join in. So that's a story which is very successful, where you have created a social enterprise which helps the farmers to access inputs through this bank as well as from NRSP. also looking at public goods. And in public goods, we are working in 4 key areas of access to clean and safe water, immunization, sanitation, and education. If you add on, this becomes an acronym which we call WISE, and this has been a great success. We have a technology where we go in when we do a benchmark so that we know exactly the data where these communities stand, and then we do the interventions. And the important thing is that we do not do interventions ourselves. We let the people work themselves on the one side, and the other side we try to access the existing government resources. For example, in areas where you have access to education at about 23% in one subdivision in Sindh, Tando Muhammad Khan, we were able to, within 8 months, bring it to 56%. And this whole knowledge is evidence-based, and it is all documented. The third important area is social enterprise, and this is very cutting edge in a way that we have set up processing units, particularly in rice, and we've tested it out earlier on in sugarcane, where we do the entire 360 degrees, which means that the farmers are organized, as I explained, and then the microcredit is given, but in this case it is given in kind, which means that the farmer can access fertilizer, pesticide and inputs, even rent farm machinery, and even get advisory from the private sector. And we have already seen that within 2 years, rice grower farmers have increased their yield by up to 30%. And we are hopeful that we will increase it to 50% within 5 years. And if that happens, by that also the amount of water being utilized has reduced, the amount of inputs has also been reduced, and we are using technology platforms in order to help the farmers. And then not only that when at the time of harvest, the farmers don't have to go anywhere. They come back to us and we buy back, or we offer them a warehouse receipt facility where they can store their product, and then they can sell it when the market gets stabilized. We have sent our product to Europe, particularly in England, and we are very happy and proud that our product has been approved in terms of quality. And since there is no middleman, I don't think so nobody can beat us in terms of quality as well as in pricing. So here is a kind of a concept where we are using market interventions to create an enabling environment, a kind of an ecosystem where the poor farmer is helped. At the end of the year, and this year we plan to do it in a big way, that 10% of the entire profits of that enterprise will actually go back in the form of a thank you to the small farmer. So for the first time, this whole ecosystem which we have built is going to help the small farmers, as I was explaining, that 10% of the profits of this experiment is going to go back as part of a thank you to the farmers. And in terms of poverty alleviation, we are already witnessing a sea change, and we have seen farmers and their families who are involved into it, that particularly women, because in this project what we've done is that the loan which is actually given is not given to the male farmer, is given to the female. So she gets involved right from the beginning. So she starts questioning how much production is there, and what is the quality, and how much do they negotiate when they bring their product to us, or they can get a warehouse receipt. So we plan to now do multiple, bringing the entire benefits back to the farmers. So we have seen that these kind of cutting edge interventions can be done in other crops as well. For example, cotton. There's a big issue of cotton in Pakistan, the curly virus and other, how do you pick the cotton up and things like that. So those could be addressed. Chilies is another area where we want to go in. And then of course guar gum is a very key area. Pakistan and India are the only two producers of guar gum, and we can do that in a big way. So in the future I think we are moving very quickly. I'm very grateful for entities like Rothamsted in UK, which has, and other research institutions which have offered with open arms our services, and we are very grateful to them. Hopefully this will create a great opportunity of interventions, and I'm looking forward that the UpSign and NRSP somehow collaborates. At least the world should know what we have done. The other very important area is that it has a universal appeal. So this model could be a great kind of an example for not only NRSP in Pakistan, but other countries, including like Africa or Central Asia, where such models can be developed in collaboration. Maybe there's an opportunity between UpSign and NRSP to do that in other countries, and we'll be most willing to do that. And by the way, we have organized about 3.3 million such farmers, and there's a huge opportunity for growth. I thank you very much.